What's going on, everybody? Brent Abel here, webtennis.com. Hope you're having a spectacular day so far, wherever you are. Wow, the San Jacinto is a little bright out there this morning here in the California desert, Rancho Mirage, California, Mission Hills Country Club. Another beautiful day on tap. I mean, the weatherman here must have a really tough job, right? All right. Highs today, early, low to mid 70s, no clouds, no wind, just kind of, and then, that's it. Anyway, beautiful day here. Hope you're having a great day so far. And look, what I've got for you today is I want to kind of go through my practice court yesterday with the Big O. And I want to go through these numbers, and we're going to go, we're going to rapid fire through them. The last little two numbers there, 30 plus 70, are the most important ones. And I'm going to get that to you. But look, first, a couple of announcements. Number one, today at 11 a.m. Pacific, which would be 2 p.m. Eastern, I've got the great Tony Dawson. And, we unfortunately lost Dennis Ralston last Sunday. And so Tony's going to, and Tony spent a lot of time with Dennis, very, very close to the family. But Dennis really helped Tony with his game. And at the time, Tony was already a multi-gold ball winner in singles and doubles, played on a couple 2 or 3 World Cup teams, USA World Cup teams, already one of the top players in his age group. And yet he was getting coached and learning and improving his game from Dennis at that time. So, guys, 11 a.m. this morning Pacific, we're going to do a live broadcast here again. And I've got Tony, and Tony's going to share with us exactly what he learned from Dennis. And maybe there'll be a nugget in there or two that will help your game as well. Second thing is, again, day after tomorrow, Saturday, December 12th, 7 a.m. Pacific. We're doing an immersion with Dr. James Loomis of the Game Changers documentary. He's going to talk about plant-based eating. And then for the first hour, and then the second hour is going to be Karen Dugan, plant-based nutritionist. And she's going to come up with some great recipes, some great ideas for you. So you're not thinking, geez, if I, maybe not 100% plant-based, but pretty darn close, God, am I eating salads all day long? No, this is good stuff. You're going to have a lot of variation in your diet. It's going to taste great, and you're going to feel 1,000,000% better. Again, I'm not sure if that's a number, but you're going to feel a lot better. And I'm going to share my story as well. Mikey Loomis Landauer is going to be with us. It'll be a panel of 4, and we're going to share our stories about kind of what we eat, what we don't eat, and for me especially, how it's made a huge difference in the last 2 years of my tournament results. So, guys, let's chat about yesterday's practice court numbers. And you hear me reference my good friend here in the desert, who just lives a few homes down from us here in the Mission Hills Country Club, Owen McIntosh. And Owen is that kind of player who is kind of obsessed with the game, right? And really wants to get better, and so kind of willing to do whatever that might take. And one of the things is he's had the kitchen right for a long time. So that's kind of off the table. I mean, he already knows what to do there. But in terms of getting out there and working on his game, he's relentless, and it's paying off. And so I want to take you through what we do at least a couple times a week. And I would, and this is when I'm here in the desert. And as you guys know, we sold our house in Northern California, Moraga, California, East Bay this summer. And we bought 5 acres in Steamboat Springs, Colorado, actually about 30-minute drive south of Steamboat. So we're there around 6 months out of the year, or eventually will be. But the other time we're down here in the desert, and I love to get Owen out there in the court, and we do this same pattern every time. And I love it. It's great for my game. I know it's helping him a little bit by little bit. But here are how the numbers work out when he and I go out and practice. And first of all, the first number I did not put up there is 90. We schedule 90 minutes. And typically we get to that number. Sometimes maybe it's not quite that much. The last 2 times out, we've gone actually 1 hour and 45 minutes, close to a couple hours. So it's when we're done, you feel it, which is good, right? You want to make sure that your practice sessions are not just hitting a few balls and kind of moving the ball around and not doing much. So look, number one, the first number on this series of numbers, number one, is what is that one thing today that you want to reinforce as a really good habit? And right, I've always felt like when I work on something, it's a habit that I want to either build or it's a habit that I want to reinforce. So yesterday, the habit that I was working on was I just want to make sure that I kind of overemphasize not looking up right through contact. Same thing with the serve, right? Make sure that up top when you make contact that you're not jackknifing at the waist too early. So I kind of artificially emphasize that, and when I do, I give myself the best chance of stroke technique working out the way that I want, right? And so it's the no peeking, it's keeping the head still, keeping the eyes down through contact. Some coaches don't believe in that stuff. Obviously, it kind of works for this guy Roger Federer. I don't know. Maybe we shouldn't copy him. Some things we can, some things we can't. But that is one thing that for me I can copy and model from him. And when I do, it just not only it keeps stroke technique, the swing path aligned, but also gives me confidence that I don't have to be, oh God, kind of looking up there and seeing what I'm about to do with my shot, right? Or trying to look at the result of my shot. I can actually feel it. So yesterday when I went out, I had this as I'm walking out from my house to grass court number 8. Brent, what's the one thing today that you want to continue to build a habit on? And for me, that was it. Other times, other days, it's something different. Five is a short court warm-up. And I know a lot of people don't believe in the short court warm-up where both players stand around the tee and kind of tap balls back and forth. There's a right way to do it, and there's a wrong way to do it. And when I got together with Mr. Stowe, he had us do a short court warm-up where the big thing in the warm-up was to make sure that you got your feet moving. You didn't just get rooted and stand there and kind of chat away and kind of reach around for balls, and if ball's right at you, not move out of the way. Because when you do that in the short court warm-up, you're pretty much telling your brain, well, this is how we play the game. And you don't want that. You want to make sure that from the minute that you tap that first ball in the short court warm-up, you've got your feet activated, you're creating spacing to the path of that little tapper coming in. And then for me, like yesterday, it was a little overemphasizing of let's keep the head down through contact, even in that short court warm-up. So in my short court warm-up for those 5 minutes, there is no, the feet do not stop. They continue the entire time. Sure, Owen and I might be chatting about something, but I'm not really looking at him as we chat. I'm really focused on making sure I've got great visual contact with the tennis ball, moving my feet so I'm creating the spacing that I need to the path of that little tapper coming in, telling my brain, hey, when we move back in the baseline and once we start playing points, this is what I want. I want the feet to be moving. I want the feet to be creating spacing. The next one is 7. And 7 is we do some rhythm hitting from the baseline. And rhythm hitting is nothing more than I'm not trying to see how hard I can hit the ball. I'm not trying to do anything more than just kind of feel balance, feel rhythm. I can't come up with a better word in terms of swing tempo, right? So forehand and backhand, that's all that we're really hitting for the next 7 minutes is tempo in the swing. And tempo is, well, what's the consistent speed of that swing speed? And so I try to sort of get that going while at the same time I'm thinking about my number one habit that I want to keep reinforcing. So not only with that number one habit, walking out to the court, I'm locked on it. In the short court, I'm locked on it. And now as I'm doing the rhythm hitting with the forehand and backhand for about 7 minutes, the same exact thing. We then go 5 minutes cross-court forehands. We go 5 minutes cross-court backhands. Yesterday we went about 3 minutes up the line and then on both sides. And then we take, maybe a 1 minute break, get a little liquid in there. And then one of us serves for 20 points in a row. And here's what I like about this part of it. A lot of players go out there and they've gone through the one, right? They got their thing they're going to work on that day. And they do the short court warm up and they kind of do the rhythm hitting. They go cross court and then they start to play a set, right? Or they start to play some games. And for me, maybe not for you, but for me, what I found, if I want to reinforce that one habit of the day, it's really tough to do it when we keep score. And look, I mean, I got my all-time great buddy Jeff Jacklich, gold ball hunting, and one of the things he says, look, when you play practice sets, there's got to be something that you're working on, and you can't care what the result is. All right, maybe, I mean, Jeff is like, this mental, the guy's got all the stuff together. He maybe can go out there and do what he's preaching is what, if you get beat 0-0 in practice, that's okay if you're working on that one thing. Well, I think for me and for a lot of players, I just don't have the guts to go out there and be thinking about this one thing and play a couple of practice sets and, go back in the clubhouse and go, someone says, well, how'd you do out there? Oh, I lost love and love. To him? What? Oh yeah, I'm working on something. Well, my instincts when I start playing points where it counts, either we're keeping score in a game or, we're playing a match. I'm sorry, but my competitive instincts take over. Now, there might be one thing like I talked about today that I could work on that, but that's a habit that I've already built, right? It's just a muscle habit I've already built over the decades. So that's not too tough to do. But if it's something new, man, I just can't do it in that kind of setting. So here's why the 2020 I love, and that is because we just play points, right? So yesterday, Owen started the first 20 where he's serving points for about 20 minutes. Yeah, I mean, does your shoulder fall off? Well, ours hasn't yet. We've been doing this for years, but he'll serve a point to the deuce court, the ad court, and we'll just keep going back and forth until, and we just, it's not timed, but we just kind of have a sense of when it's time to take another minute or two break, get some liquid in there. And a really hot day, I'll take my liquid bottle over to my side of the court. We don't change sides of the court during this one guy serving for 20 minutes. But we don't keep score, right? But we're playing points. And so we're trying to win the points, but there's a little less pressure than keeping score as you might with if you're playing games or sets or a match or whatever. And so it kind of frees me up to be able to really focus on that one thing for that day. And then after he served for 20 minutes yesterday, then I went over there and I served. And this is all singles, right? And then we take another little break for liquid, and then we play each where one guy serves for about 10 minutes each of going doubles, right? So we just play cross-court doubles. And where, the alleys are in play, cross-court, obviously you can't go up the line because you only got two guys there. But the server, obviously it's serve and volley. And if you're the returner and you get a second serve, you should be trying to play a chip and charge approach or a drive-in approach or whatever. But you should be practicing trying to come in on that second serve, return to serve, and doubles cross court. Like I said before, the alleys are good, and then we draw an imaginary line from the tee back to the baseline. And those are the boundaries of this little game. We don't keep score, right? But we do alternate back and forth serving from deuce to ad. Each guy gets about 10 minutes. And so, and that yesterday, that took about an hour and 45 minutes. I don't know if these numbers add up to that, but we went for about an hour and 45 minutes yesterday. And it's doable. I mean, are you going to play a lot of points, hit a lot of balls? Of course, tons. But here's where the 30 and 70 come in. And this is kind of why I like playing points where we're not keeping score, is that if you think about it in a match, right? In a real match, what's the amount of time that we are actually playing a point, and what's the actual time between points? Well, look, I mean, if points are on average 4 shots, a serve, a return, and then each guy plays 2 more, 2 more shots. The reality is, and the rules of the game say you get 25 seconds between points. Well, the reality is that about 20% of the match that you play, if you play a 2-hour match, only 20% of those 2 hours is actually playing points. The 80%, the other 80% is in between points or in side changes. So what that means is, and I'll do this in an upcoming video, but if you don't manage that between points time, that 80%, you don't set yourself up to play your best tennis during the 20% of the match, which is when we play points. So in this case, in the practice scenario that I just set up, that Owen and I do on a regular basis, about 30% of the time we're actually playing points. It's a little bit more in the playing points time and a little bit less on the between points time, because we don't actually take the full 25 seconds. Between points, one guy hits points over, and we just kind of move on to the next point. There are no side changes. So I haven't measured this, but I'm just guessing that there's more time playing points, which is good, right, in this practice setting, and there's less time between playing points. And the point I want to make the point I want to make this morning is that 70% of the time, why not turn that time into a fitness opportunity? Why not, once the point's over, if you've got a ball that's kind of rolled, way up at net or off the net somewhere, why not sprint to go get it? And then, give it back to your, serving guy, and then to recover back to the, where you're going to start the next point. Why not do some side to sides? Why not do some karaoke steps back there? Why not use that 70% of the time when you're playing points that you're not playing points? Why not use that as a fitness opportunity? Well, I do. Owen does. And if you're really into that kind of a practice drill session, as I described, then I would add that component. I wouldn't use the between points time, or if you're just rallying cross court and now you got to go pick up the balls, just don't saunter over there and kind of pick up and lean over at the waist and bend over and pick it up. No, man, sprint over there or run over there or side to side over there or whatever it is, and then do a nice squat or a lunge to pick up the ball rather than bending over, right? Because like I said in the beginning, the number one is about habit building or habit reinforcing. And look, I've railed forever that one of the most important things you got to get right is balance. And so why not use that opportunity when you're picking up the tennis balls to have good posture, to have good balance? I know this sounds unreasonable. It sounds obsessive. Well, look, if you want to get better as a player, guess what? Doing a little bit more of what you're doing now, probably not going to get you to where you want to go. So you're going to have to get a little bit unreasonable with stepping it up in terms of what you do in practice. And this is one way to do it. So gotten off a little bit of a rant here, haven't I? Oh, well, there you go. So look, those are the numbers. And I really want you to consider this kind of a practice. And look, you got to find the right partner, right? Most players in your tennis sphere of influence in your tennis world probably won't be up for doing something like this. So you've got to find someone who's willing to do it and maybe willing to do it a couple times a week if this is what you want to do, if you want to become a better player. I talked about my friend Mike yesterday about, asking himself that question: will this make the boat go faster? And look, he's all about starting now and prepping for 2021 for the senior tournament schedule. This is assuming that the tournaments, get open again. But I just said, look, man, if you want to do this, awesome. I will help you. I will hold your hand through it. I'll be your accountability partner. If you want to text me on a daily basis and tell me what you did, and great. But you got to get unreasonable. You have got to get obsessed with it. And so that was my message to him: was you got to go find a guy. And he said, look, I've got someone. I've got someone. So same message to you. Go find that practice partner who will do what. And look, if you want a little bit more of a detailed thing of what I do with Owen, a couple times a week, just go ahead and reach out to me. You can either do it here, direct message at Facebook, leave a comment and just say, hey, send me the stuff. I'm more than happy to do that. Brent at webtennis.com will also kind of work too. So guys, with that said, again, a couple reminders this morning at 11 o'clock Pacific. I've got the all-time great Aussie, the great Tony Dawson, and he's going to talk about what Dennis Ralston taught him when Tony was already playing at the top of his game, when he was already, collecting gold balls like, he was a vault, and playing on the USA World Cup teams, around the world. And so we're going to hear from Tony at 11 o'clock this morning, what are those things that he got from the great Dennis Ralston. And then again, this Saturday, December 12th at 7 a.m. Pacific, we're going to do a 4-panel immersion on plant-based eating and how it might make a difference for you, right? There's a link in the comments area that will take you to get registered. There is a small fee. I think it's $39. Big whoop, right? It's going to be worth your time. And look, if you can't make this morning of Saturday, when you register and pay, you will get a replay link, which you'll be able to then watch it on your own time. Guys, dang it. That's it for me today. Looking forward to another spectacular day. And as always, you know what you got to do. You got to get out there and you've got to help someone else have a spectacular day. Guys, we will do this again tomorrow.